Hello, my name is Joe Aronell, and welcome to the Meraki MX Demo module for Pitch Zone FY18. In this module, I'm going to talk about the importance of giving a demo as part of the Meraki MX sales motion. I'm also going to show the process for giving a Meraki demo. I'm going to talk about some of the important things to include in a Meraki demo and how to give an effective demo of the Meraki MX specifically. And I'm also going to show a demo, if you will, a quick example of what I like to call a workflow demo that I might give to a customer, just as an example. So first things first, I want to talk about why it's important to do demos of these products. And it's important to demo almost any product, but it's particularly true for the Meraki products. And the reason for that is that the value of the Meraki solutions is all about management experience. The features and the functions are important, obviously, right? We have a lot of best-of-breed Cisco security capabilities and technologies built into this platform, but what sets Meraki MX apart from other UTM vendors, other security vendors, is really the management experience, the ease with which you can bring those solutions to bear and monitor them once they're deployed. So it's very important to highlight that and to make sure that the customer sees it. The problem with that is that every single vendor out there claims to have great game-changing, world-shattering management. So that's why the demo is so crucial, because it allows you to get in front of that customer and show them, rather than just tell them, look, this is what it actually looks like, see it for yourself, this is how easy it can be to leverage some of these really powerful Cisco security functions. If you don't already have a Meraki demo account, hopefully you do, but if not, you can go to meraki.cisco.com/cisco/dashboard. You create an account using your Cisco email address and whatever password you like that meets the requirements. And then once you have that demo account, you go to dashboard.meraki.com, you log in with your Cisco email and the password you created, and you'll have access to our demo networks. There are a whole series of networks there. If you don't know which one to choose, I always recommend using Meraki Corp, which is the sort of network infrastructure that includes the San Francisco, London, and Sydney Cisco Meraki offices. That's going to be the best network unless you have some specific reason why you want to use one of the others, which are mostly customer and partner networks, as well as a couple other Cisco offices. There may be something specific you want to show in one of those, but if not, just use Corp, as it's easier and you don't have to know as much about the use case or any of that. It's easier to speak to. So how do you give an effective demo? Well, there are 4 key things that I highly recommend. The first is always highlight the fact that this is not just a management platform and a monitoring platform for security or for the MX. It is a security and SD-WAN management and monitoring platform, just talking about MX, but it also includes switching, wireless, phones, mobility management and EMM, security cameras. All of these other IT infrastructure components can be managed from this one interface. And that's one of the key values of Meraki is all the Meraki infrastructure you have across all these different technology areas is monitored and managed in one single pane of glass. And so you want to show that because it's something that is very, very compelling, and it's something kind of unique about the Meraki solution, and more broadly even about Cisco, because none of our competitors can match the breadth of portfolio that we offer. So it's important to kind of highlight that to show, look, we can not only give you all these different solutions, but we can give you a way to manage all of them in one place. You also want to make sure that you don't just talk about security when it comes to visibility, because security and network visibility are intertwined. The more knowledge you have about the network, the more effectively you can create and enforce security policies. It also allows you to react to security events much more easily if you don't have to switch into another interface or go talk to another team to figure out the network context around that security event. So show the fact that there are network clients on the wired and wireless that are displayed in dashboard, their usage, their applications, how they're connected to the network. All that information is available in the same interface that's used to configure and monitor the security functions. And that context is very valuable to administrators. It makes it much easier for them to react to events and to create relevant policies. The third thing that I always try to do is when I show things like enabling AMP or enabling snort-based IPS, I always try to talk to what's happening under the hood and the powerful functions and capabilities that exist behind that very simple UI. Because people can actually get underwhelmed by how simple the configuration is. And they get confused because, well, how can it, what is it really doing when all I'm doing is flipping a switch. So it's important to speak to the fact that when you flip the switch, say to enable AMP, what that's actually doing is taking every single file that's downloaded through that MX, hashing it, sending that hash to the AMP cloud, and leveraging that giant database we have of malware signatures in the cloud to come back and give you a determination on the disposition of that file. If you don't give that context, if you don't give that under the kind of behind the scenes, under the hood look, they're potentially going to be concerned by the simplicity. So you want to make sure you unpack that for them. Finally, you want to show workflows. You don't just want to talk about features and functions, because the features are important, but again, it's the management experience. And part of that is around the workflows that you use day to day as a security or IT administrator. And it's much more relevant to the customer if they can see, or to a managed service provider or partner for that matter, if they can see how they're going to be using it day to day. And that's what workflows let you show. So let me give an example here of what a workflow demo might look like. So I jump over into the dashboard, and I've got here the threat protection page, which is where I configure AMP and I configure Snort. And I might show, okay, I've configured these, I've got a couple whitelist components in here. Again, I talk to what's going on behind the scenes and what's actually happening when I turn on AMP or I turn on Snort, right? We're inspecting all this traffic. We're using this incredible breadth and depth of security and threat intelligence that Talos offers and bringing it to bear just through this very simple interface. But once I have those enabled, I go to the security center, and that's where I get all the visibility. That's where I get all the security event data. And here I see events over time. Here I see who the clients are generating the most threat events. What are the threats generating the most events? What are the sources of threats even that are generating the most events? And I can take action. I can block an IP that is generating a lot of threat events externally. I can even block a country if I have no business use case to be communicating with that country, and there's a lot of threat events coming from it. Or, and this is perhaps the most powerful one, I can come in here and I can say, okay, what about this client? This client's generating a lot of threat events. I can click on View Client Details to jump straight to that client's page in the dashboard, or I can say, let's filter to just this client and see what they've been doing. These are the events they're generating. If I determine that this device or this user poses a risk, I can click here, again, to jump to that client details page. I can see who they are, information about how they're connected to the network, right? What access point or switch they're connected to, what they're doing on the network. Some of this blurred out because I'm in demo mode. But I can also take action. I can block them from the network so that they have to bring their machine to IT to get it formatted or re-imaged or whatever remediation action I choose to take. I can change their level of access on the security layer, but also on the Meraki wireless layer if Meraki wireless is in place. Again, network and security to make sure they don't have access to any critical information until I've gone in and determined whether or not they're a threat. So that nice, clean, easy workflow from detection to remediation, all in the same interface, is incredibly persuasive to show to customers and partners. And it makes it very real for them. Okay, what am I doing with this? What is the actual value of this cloud managed interface, this simplicity? Well, here's an example of how you might use it. And that tends to resonate really well. So jumping back into the slides just for a moment here, there's one more thing I want to mention. You may have been thinking as I talked about this, well, what about dCloud? Why can't I do this in dCloud? And that's a fair question because that is kind of becoming the one-stop shop for Cisco demos, right? And we want to be part of that story. We want to make it easier for you to demo all the Cisco solutions, including the Meraki portfolio, in one simple place. So while the Meraki demos are done in the web portal today, in the dashboard, we are looking at moving some of these demos into dCloud, as well as creating architectural demos in dCloud that include not only Meraki, but the other solutions within the Cisco security portfolio that Meraki integrates with, like AMP, ThreatGrid, StealthWatch, Umbrella in the future, right? We want to give that broader context. So stay tuned for that. We are working on bringing some of these Meraki demos to dCloud. And thank you for watching this module.